I'm shocked. Shocked, I tell you. Shocked to learn that there are some Republican representatives out there still holding town hall meetings. Why does it shock me? Well, because there was a directive that came from the top over at the RNC to halt all of the town hall meetings, right? Why? Because they think that all of these angry constituents that are showing up and speaking out at these town hall meetings, they are spinning a narrative, telling a lie that these are paid agitators from the Democratic Party. Yeah. No way could these angry constituents be Republicans. Why? Because Republican voters gave us a mandate. Yes, we told them that this is what we were going to do, and they voted us into office anyway. So no way can they be upset that we are firing them by the thousands from their jobs with no real cause. No way can these Republican voters be upset with us because we are moving to get rid of their benefits, the benefits that they've paid into for decades. Getting rid of Social Security and Medicare. No way could they be upset with us when we told them this is what we were going to do. No, this has to be the radicals from the left, the extremists from the left, the delusional Democrats. These have to be the people who are being paid by the Democratic Party to show up and cause confusion at our town hall meetings. This is the lies that they are telling the MAGA nut crew, and this is the lies that they are telling themselves. In actuality, it is Republican voters. Sure, there are some Democratic voters showing up at these town hall meetings because they are constituents of these elected officials. They don't just represent Republicans, they represent everyone who is in that district. Yeah. Anywho, let's talk about Harriet Hageman. This wild-eyed MAGA nut is Harriet Hageman. She is a representative out of the great state of Wyoming. Yes, this is the person that Wyoming overwhelmingly went into the voting booth to put into office because they voted against Liz Cheney at the behest of Agent Orange. Yes, this wild-eyed MAGA nut had a town hall meeting the other night. And let's talk about how it went at her town hall meeting the other night, shall we?
And even with reconciliation, we are not allowed to touch Social Security. The work that I have specifically been doing, I am on the Judiciary Committee and the Natural Resources Committee. I worked for the U.S. Department of Agriculture, helping Wyoming family farmers deal with drought until I was fired a month ago in the mass firings, and despite only having the highest marks in my performance review. In a state where so many farmers rely on government programs for drought and disaster relief, Trump's plans to cut these programs and the people who administer them, coupled with the tariffs, will decimate Wyoming farms and rural communities. What are you doing about that? I disagree. I disagree. I come from the ag community. I'm well aware of what kind of programs are out there. It's so bizarre to me how obsessed you are with federal government. But here's the thing. I'm sorry. Your hysteria is just really.
Oh, I get it now. I get it. I get it. The reason why they're holding town hall meetings still is because they're arrogant and they're condescending. That's why they're still dumb enough to be holding town hall meetings. Not only that, they believe that their constituents are dumb enough. They believe that their constituents are still believing the nonsense, the lies, the manipulated spin on what it is that they're doing up there in the halls of Congress. Their arrogance leads them to believe that that bubble they're in with other Republicans, and when they're out there on Twitter and they've got all of the MAGA nut trolls down in their comment section cheering them on, they believe that world translates to back home when they have to go before real people who are being affected by what it is they're doing up there in Washington. Can you imagine to tell your constituents that you cannot understand or believe how deep they are in what is going on with the federal government? Lady, what you are doing as a representative of your constituents and the federal government is poorly affecting, negatively affecting the people's lives in that room. Of course they're going to pay attention. They are going to pay attention, and if they don't like what it is that you are doing, they are going to hold you accountable. And the unmitigated gall you have to insinuate that it's ludicrous of them to be paying attention to what is going on with their tax dollars. But wait, there's more.
Question here. And just to give you a little reference, I'm a retired military officer. At 18, I rose my hand to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And at that time, well, I still am. I am still a Republican. I am, bless his heart, a Simpson Republican that believes in working together across the aisle. And my question, having looked at Musk's Doge, whatever website, you are a lawyer. Where is this fraud? Who? What company? What company? What organization? What personnel?
I'll just start reading some of
Are
it.
we going after?
I'll just start reading some of it. I'll just start reading it right now if you'd like me to. I'll just focus on USAID spending right here.
I didn't say spending. I said actual fraud.
This is what it is. This is the spending associated with the fraud. This is the fraud. Spending is the fraud.
No.
Yeah, it is.
Spending
Yes,
we don't
yes,
like.
it is.
We
So,
go after specific companies or specific personnel
So
that are committing fraud.
500,000. This is fraud. This is fraudulent spending.
No, it may be abusive spending, but it's not.
Well, and what
They think the constituents are stupid. That lady asked a specific question. What is the fraud? Where is the fraud? Who are we going to hold accountable for the fraud? Because that's what happens when you find fraud. When there is true, legitimate fraud, you can pinpoint what is happening with that money. Money is given for a specific purpose, and you do an investigation into finding out what happened with that money, and you learn that individual A or company A took that money and did not use that money for what the purpose was intended. They used that money to buy them a Tesla. They used that money to go to the Bahamas. They used that money to buy them a house. They used that money to purchase themselves some stock. That is fraud. That's why she's asking, who are we holding accountable? What company are we holding accountable? In other words, who took the money that wasn't used for the intended purpose? And when are we going to press charges against that individual? When are we going to hold that individual responsible? That is fraud. Now, that's different from abuse. You set aside $5,000 to purchase a desk in next year's budget. Next year's budget comes around, you go ahead and you spend $100,000 from the budget on that desk. That is abuse. Why the fuck do you need a $100,000 desk? We only allocated $5,000 for the purchase of the desk because you don't need a fucking $100,000 desk. Remember what Pete Hegseth did when he got into office? He had the whole house remodeled. Why? There was no need to have the whole house remodeled. That is abuse. They think the constituents are stupid. The constituents are not stupid. But wait, there's more.
That's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to cut it out.
That's
They're trying to talk through both sides of their mouth.
No,
Where they're
sir.
medicated and how they're
What you're saying is inaccurate, and I just explained to you that is the Medicaid expansion.
Now, I saw the entire clip in regards to this interaction right here, but when I went to go download it, I couldn't find the clip again. So let me break this down for you. There was another gentleman who was not seen in the clip that I have. There was another gentleman asking about the cuts to Medicare and Medicaid, because remember, in the budget, they plan on cutting $880 billion from Medicare and Medicaid. What Harriet responded with is that she didn't vote to cut any funding from Medicare and Medicaid. And so that gentleman in the clip got up and explained she's talking out of both sides of her mouth. What they did was they voted to have the committee cut $880 billion from the budget. The Medicare Medicaid Committee. I forget the proper title for this committee. But they voted to have the committee do this, when in essence, you voted to have $880 billion cut from the budget. And where is that going to come from? Medicare and Medicaid. But because she didn't specifically vote for $880 billion to be cut from Medicare and Medicaid, she gets to go out and tell people, I didn't vote to cut $880 billion from Medicare and Medicaid. Don't let them slip you up with the words. She voted to have $880 billion cut from the Medicare and Medicaid budget. They just get the freedom to say they didn't do that because they voted for the committee to cut the funding from the budget. But wait, there's more.
There is not, and also DOJ will be going through their budget. And what we did with that money is we specified how it is to be spent. That's why we're talking about raises specifically for the enlisted men and women, as an example.
But that's your job, not my job.
That is our job. That's what we did. That's what we did. That was us that did that. That's what we did. So, next question.
So the conversation continues and they get into this discussion about how Doge is going to go through the budget and make cuts or give people raises, whatever. Doge is going to have the final say in what goes and what doesn't go through with the budget. And that constituent said, that's your job. That constituent is exactly right. This is what we voted these representatives into office to do. This is their job, to go through the budget. They are in control of the purse strings. They are the ones that come together to sit down and decide who's going to get what to run the federal government. Why are they handing off their job to Doge, to Elon Musk, especially when nobody voted for Elon Musk? He didn't go before Congress to get approval to do what it is that he is doing. He has no authority to do what it is that he is doing, but they are giving him that authority without the input of the American people. I'm shocked, I tell you, that they are still having these town hall meetings. But hey, I love it because the constituents are awake. This is the biggest awakening that I've seen since I've been talking politics. I've been talking politics since Donald Trump came down that escalator back in 2016. They have a problem with woke, but baby, they are now a part of the woke crew. How you like them apples?